Making a game on the scale of Halo takes hundreds of people with different skills, a singular vision, and time. Lots of time. But before a game reaches store shelves, the team must create thousands of assets that are tracked in 2-week deadlines we call sprints. 343 Industries invites you to join us on our journey, creating Halo 5 Guardians from the ground up. One painting, sound, and line of code at a time. This is the sprint.
Did Chen Taylor tell you what Cortana predicted for the Super Bowl?
No.
Cortana predicted the Seahawks would lose.
That's not good. Is she not a Seahawks fan? All right, so last day shooting. We'll go get this right now. Let's show the previs here. Perfect. Osiris, the light is green.
Fire team Osiris. Light is green.
Boom. And we go, okay? This is the first thing that our player is going to see when we start the game. Your head will explode when you see the full rendered piece.
So we are at my apartment in Bellevue downtown. This is where I have my home studio. It's a really tiny room that I have. Audio usually is the last thing that puts experience together. When I play the game, I try to catch what the sound effects are doing, what the dialogue experience is like, and I think does the music make sense. That's the thing I go through every day these days. So this is the opening scene, the clock's ticking. When I was developing Locke's theme, I just thought about Locke's character. I felt like there was a lot more complexity to the character development, so I didn't want it to sound very straightforward. Being able to express that complexity was my first goal. So the melody goes. So if you put your bass note on E, so you have this major, minor thing going on at the same time. So that's really the foundation. It sounds a little more ambiguous, whereas Master Chief is when I said the clock's ticking already for the Team Osiris, this is the instrument that represents that. So this arpeggio here is very subtle in the background, but it's there to keep the rhythm going, so that it's not a calm scene. It's building up for something that's big.
Fire Team Osiris. Over the last 72 hours, 5 colonies have experienced identical events. Massive destruction, Forerunner and Origin.
So on Forerunner and Origin, that's kind of your cue to kind of pay attention to that. That's interesting to you, okay? Tracking online.
That's when I use my tablet.
Tracking gear.
You leave your tablet down, right? So, I know, sorry. So tracking is this, right? Just look at the arm, right?
Affirmative.
Copy that. We're building the opening sequence here for Interior of the Pelican. Eventually this data is going to be packaged up and sent to our good friends at Axis in Scotland. They'll be doing all the finishing work on here, materials, lighting, rendering, visual effects. So let's walk through it. We're just going to bumble through this a few times until we get it, okay? What's this for?
She's going to grab the rack.
So she's going here.
Grabs the clip, grabs the
Oh, clip. There's some choreography to do here. How's Buck gonna grab this helmet?
I was thinking lefty, but...
Okay. So here, That hopefully by then, our friend Vale is going to be here.
You're gonna hand this off to her.
And again, this is a briefing, so pay attention to this, but also pay attention to this. Find moments to turn.
Light is green.
And then you go.
See you, gun.
Tanaka's go.
Vale first out the door. Vale's first out the door, then Tanaka, and then Buck hands the helmet to Locke. He goes. Locke has his moment, and then he goes.
You're gonna have a moment here by yourself. Kind of take a look at the empty Pelican. Put the helmet on, and then you go. I knew it. He couldn't resist. All right.
One more day.
One more day.
This is the Foley Stage here at Warner Brothers, Stage 1, one of 2. This is really the most fun job I think anybody could ever have, of which about 450 people in the world do this job.
Okay. Here we go.
Sounds great.
Yay!
High five, buddy. High five.
Great thing about Foley is that you don't have to actually use what it is you see on camera to make the sound. In other words, yeah, if we're going to open up a bag of potato chips, we probably use a bag of potato chips because that's a sound we all know. If a vampire is getting a stake through its heart, then all of a sudden turning to ash, how do you make that sound? We've been asked to do that. In the game, we've got a couple of classes, one being the grunts. And the grunts, well, they're kind of slimy, if I can use that term. We have to add to a grunt just a little bit of wetness. So your everyday average chamois, and that'll be one part of the overall sound for the grunt. We'll have some armor sound. All those things combined, once they're all there together and put in appropriately, hopefully it'll sound like, hey, that's a real grunt.
So this is what I use for grunt because he's got really patty feet. So these are barbecue gloves.
When it comes to doing footsteps for Foley, it seems like that's really might be the easiest thing to do, but actually it's probably the hardest. Because to give a unique feeling and sound to each character, that's the key. Even just the scientists or the Marines, we're trying to give them each a different feeling and flavor. What'd you do at work today, Dad? Play with a chamois.
Twist. Step out over to one side, over the other side.
These are going to get lost because of the helmet. Okay. These are too.
Hey, Brian.
Mom.
Yes, brother. You know that sitcom is, they need me again today. Do you mind if I get out here by 10 a.m.?
10 a.m.?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk to Damon and see if we can work that out, okay? All right, can we get circle up here real quick?
Circle up.
Okay, so we're about to go shoot the 000 opening sequence. This is the first thing that our player's gonna see when we start the game, right? So let's really bring our best stuff with this one, okay? For you, like this, the gravity of this is like, Tokyo, London, Los Angeles, New York, gone, right? Like that's kind of the idea at the top of that thing before you get into the nuts and bolts of the mission,
Okay.
right? It's time to go, right? So everybody needs to be getting ready to, we're about to jump in, right? So let's tighten that up, all right? Tighten it up. Okay, let's go.
Let's roll. 7 speed. Work speed. 10, Zulu 2.
All right, and action. We're flying, and
Fire Team Osiris. Over the last 72 hours, 5 colonies have experienced identical events. Massive destruction. Forerunner in origin. But Dr. Catherine Elizabeth Halsey has managed to contact us. She claims to have information on these attacks. Good luck, Spartan Luck. Infinity out.
Tracking gear online.
Affirmative.
So before we make this jump, anybody want to say a few words?
I figure if God can hear how scared I am, so can everyone else. Locke, you buying the first round when we're done?
You ask, you buy. Fire Team Osiris. Light is green.
Cut there? Okay. One note overall volume, right? It's, so don't scream, but just get a little, project, okay?
Fire Team Osiris. The light is green.
And cut. That's not a bad take right there. That's not a bad take. Okay, let's do one more for safety. That was good. Same deal. All right, and we're flying. Action.
They think that sometime before Stradivarius, there was an ice age.
Yeah.
And because of the ice age, the trees where Stradivarius was getting his wood from, the yearly ring had gotten much thinner. So they feel that when he harvested, the wood that he harvested as a result of that ice age had a particular grain content to it that created this incredible, wood for making stringed instruments. Wow. Yeah, it's like one of those ridiculous facts you find at 3 in the morning when you're waiting for your assistant to set up another cue. This is our 5th and final mixing session for the project. Today's the first day. Not too bad, huh?
That's
You like
awesome.
that?
That's awesome.
I still think I can get a little bit more out of that halo thing. I'm not quite done yet. Almost done. Okay. But it's good, right?
Yeah, it sounds great. Yeah.
I want to really hit that halo, it's like I'm backing everything down a little bit, I'm keeping it up, and it's 8 bars before that, just if I pull everything down 1 dB and then just go back up that 1 dB on the logo, I think it's going to So that's sort of like, a lot of this when you have stuff that really, really emotional, cinematic stuff like this, is just listening and looking for ideas where you can make a tiny bit of a shade of a difference. If I can make a 1% difference, and if it helps, then it's worth it, See, that voice thing is really nice, but I can hear it turn on. So I'm going to fade it up a little bit so that I can't quite hear it turn on. That's great right there. Monty, you did it! You did it, Monty!
Wow, mixing's great.
Thank you.
We are almost there to finish the game, but it's not only music that makes up the audio experience, it needs to work with the sound effects. Sound effects makes the characters and weapons come alive. And ambience gives each level the feel of the real place. I really can't wait for the fans to play the game and experience it for themselves.
This is my high-tech tablet. Bottom, place hands here. I don't know what this is actually for. I'm gonna play Angry Birds on it.
Get the Xbox One Limited Edition bundle.